Professor Till has really nicely laid out the diverse range of issues involving maritime security in the Indo-Pacific region. And I would like to kind of bring us back some 20 years ago, and then maybe even further to see a kind of a multilateral cooperation in maritime security, broadly defined in first in the Western Pacific and then gradually evolving into the Indian Ocean region. Among the Quad members, in fact, Japan, Australia, and the US have had a longer history of cooperation. And since 2008, there has been the Trilateral Security Dialogue Framework, which was basically a 2+2 format. Defense minister and foreign minister from 3 countries periodically get together to discuss security in general. And I recall the earlier meetings quite deliberately avoided naming China in their discussions and statements. And a lot of the focus was paid on how to jointly deal with transnational security issues. And those included the issues of maritime domain, such as maritime terrorism and the movement of the illegal migrations, illegal terrorist movements, training, and drug trafficking, and piracy, and so forth. And the 3 countries did have a really well-coordinated division of labor in that sense. Although I would say the insufficient resource has always been a problem for all of these countries compared to the scale of the problems in the region. But for example, about the terrorist movement in the Celebes Sea, Makassar Strait, the Australia and the US took a primary role in addressing this threat, whereas Japan took a leading role in the Malacca Strait piracy issues in the late 1990s. So that is a really natural extension of their respective bilateral alliances with the United States. And in Japan's case, in Southeast Asia, Japan has been very active in maritime safety cooperation, as Professor Teo pointed out. So it was easy for Japan to build on this long-established cooperation, not involving the Maritime Self-Defense Force initially, but it was Coast Guard initiatives with the Southeast Asian countries. So in many Southeast Asian countries, Japan laid the foundation of the regional coast guards, and the design of the Coast Guard was often placed under the civilian law enforcement, largely because Japan had a constitutional restriction against providing military assistance. So even the design of the Coast Guard in Southeast Asia was influenced by Japan. So if you look at the countries like Malaysia, they have the MIMA, which is a civilian ministry in charge of the Coast Guard. So the Indian involvement in Quad, in the most recent meeting, it became clear that India will take a leading role in maritime capacity building for the Indian Ocean region island countries. So this was a good development. But I think, as Professor Thiel pointed out, India is a kind of latecomer in that sense. I remember in the earlier, the Coast Guard capacity building forum, the seminars organized by Japan, India was often invited participants and recipient of Japanese capacity building assistance. But now India is becoming the giver of the capacity building assistance to Indian Ocean region island states. So this is a welcome development. The effort is shifting more toward the military side as well among some of these participants, and Japan, Australia, US, plus Philippines joined the joint naval exercise in the South China Sea in the recent years. And the Philippines' relationship with these three countries are evolving in the sense of allowing more frequent presence of the military forces from these three countries onto the Philippine soil. And the access agreements have been expanded. The US can use more Filipino bases for its military operations. And Japan signed agreements to facilitate joint exercise and mutual visitations as well. So these are all new development, and in a way, Philippines is unique among the ASEAN countries, but how far this partnership will develop is yet to be seen, because the Philippines has a history of kind of oscillating whenever the president changes. So we'll see, how a rapidly evolving relationship, completely reverses in direction. And to that extent, I think we have just about to witness similar development with South Korea. South Korea, Japan, US were heading toward a closer trilateral cooperation, and some of which did have maritime dimensions, but now everything is on hold, and if not in reverse gear yet. So I think I will stop here. Thank you.